So I took all of August off from social media, but obviously I was still listening to sports stuff, listening to podcasts during that time. One of the coolest podcasts that I listened to was the Athletics podcast, where they were ranking the top 100 players in NBA history. The caveat is they were recapping their rankings they had 2 years ago, and then just kind of going through and asking, should guys be higher, should guys be lower? It's kind of a flawed list. Anytime you're going to do a top 100 in NBA history, you're going to compare generations, it's going to be a flawed list. One of the biggest problems that I had with the list, however, was the second episode. They were recapping 60 through 80, and they had Tracy McGrady almost 20 spots higher than Chris Webber, which is insane to me. And then I talked to my little brother. He's 8 years younger than me, talked to people in his age range, and that seems to be how people feel, which is crazy to me. I was alive for both of their peaks, and I'm telling you right now, not only was Chris Webber a better player than Tracy McGrady, he was a far more impactful player than Tracy McGrady. And people will talk about T-Mac and they'll talk about how the injuries slowed him down, but Chris Webber doesn't really get the same slack. Maybe it's because we saw more of Chris Webber, but I'm telling you right now, when he had that microfracture knee surgery, he still had at least 3, if not 5 years of peak Chris Webber basketball left in him. So C-Web, man, he does not get enough credit. In that early 2000s stretch, he was the best power forward in the NBA. It was him, it was Tim Duncan, it was Kevin Garnett, and he was putting up work against these guys. He was the guy who was challenging the Kobe Shaq Lakers. He should have a ring, if not for the Tim Donaghy thing. The Tim Donaghy thing kind of exposed that the league might have rigged that series a little bit for the Kings. And if the Kings go ahead and win that series, they get that ring. And I'm telling you right now, when it comes to Chris Webber versus Tracy McGrady, people will always say, well, T-Mac didn't have a lot of help. His roster sucked. He also played in the East. The East sucked back then. Look at some of those Eastern teams that he was struggling to win against. The Sixers, they were Allen Iverson and a bunch of cast-offs. They still managed to have more success than Tracy McGrady. The Celtics during that time, it was Paul Pierce, it was a declining Antoine Walker, and it was a bunch of cast-offs. They managed to make it Eastern Conference Finals. So for Tracy McGrady to not do anything in that weak Eastern Conference, that says a lot. If you swap Chris Webber and Tracy McGrady in those years, if you put peak Chris Webber in 2002 on that Magic team, I'm telling you, that Magic team is the Eastern Conference Finals team. Whereas if you put T-Mac on those Kings teams, they are not able to contend with the Lakers any better. They're actually worse. They're worse against the Lakers. They're worse against those Blazers teams back then, those Mavericks teams back then. The West was tough back then. So I know it seems to be commonly thought that Tracy McGrady was a better player than Chris Webber, but I'm telling you guys, Chris Webber might be one of the more underrated players in NBA history.